What's up, Cardfighters? Ryan here from Vanguard Central, coming at you guys with a new and improved Jewel Knight Thingsaver deck profile. So this deck doesn't actually run Altmile, and it is a stride deck, but it is pretty good. I actually went 6-1 with this at the California Team League in Pomona just this past weekend. And let me just go ahead and show you guys what the deck's all about. So for our grade 3 lineup, we're going to be running 4 copies of Secret Thingsaver Dragon. You want to be able to max out him because of course you want to pull off his restand. And it's really easy to get the restand in this deck considering the cards you'll be having in your hand and also maintaining your damage. And then we're running 3 copies of Jewel Knight Ashley Reverse. And so now you're wondering, why are you running her over Altmile? You need Limit Break for her. But then also, Limit Break Enabler is a thing. And then the main question is, what if you're sitting on Altmile and you can't stride? He's basically an 11k vanilla and useless. And I've come into so many situations where I sit on Altmile, can't pull off Thingsaver, and I just die, roll into a ball. Yes, it happens. And so if you guys don't know her skill, Ashley Reverse is to counterblast 1 and choose one of your Jewel Knight rear guards and lock it. And then you choose an opponent's rear guard in the front row, retire it, and then call another Jewel Knight from your deck and call it to rear guard. And it can't be used for the rest of the turn. And it's called any rear guard, which is really, really good. So you can combo it with one of the best cards for Royal Paladin right now, Jewel Knight Sword Me, the promo for the Legion mate. And so I'll go ahead and explain a few more combos later. But let me just go ahead and show you what the deck's about, guys. So for our grade 2 lineup, like I said, the best card for Royals right now, maxing out 4 copies of Jewel Knight Sword Me. Now Sword Me is super amazing because she's able to maintain your field, especially if you're going into a deck that runs that pretty much mass retires your own, and just getting that basically free 16k column off 1 counterblast is ridiculously scary. And then we're running 3 copies of Fellowship Jewel Knight Tracy. She's a 12k hitter for Jewel Knights. And so you need 3 other Jewel Knights on your rearguard circles in order for her to get the plus 3k, but that's so easy in this deck considering that our starter is also Jewel Knight. And I'll go ahead and show you guys. And then we're running 3 copies of Blaster Blade Seeker. You can run 4, but then I have 2 tech cards in here that I'll show you guys in a bit. But Blaster Blade Seeker sitting at 3 right now is honestly okay, because say if you draw into him or if you have to ride him, there's still 2 more in the deck. As long as you get 1 in your hand, call it to rear guard, it's going to die later. And then it'll be in the drop zone. And once you ride Thingsaver, you just Legion him back into the deck and boom, you're set. He's now your mate. So that's why it's really good to run 3. I feel like 2 is way too little. 4 is a little bit too much. And I think 3 is just about right. And his skill you never use unless you're getting super aggroed and Thingsaver's your Vanguard. And then for our 2 tech cards, we're running 2 Knight of Fragment. And having this lineup has been working really well for me. I mean, like I said, I went 6-1 at the California Regional Team League just this past weekend. And I played decks, like the Cross, Paraditions, Nova Grappler, Gear Chronicle, Genesis, and it was pretty good games. The only one that I actually lost to was a mirror match, but he was running the Altmile version. And so Knight of Fragment, I run 2 in this deck because since it's really easy to get a full field and having a grade 2, it helps me unflip the damage and helps me fill up soul, and that's pretty much the big picture. If you wanted to, you can honestly sub these guys out and then add another Blaster Blade, add another Tracy, and just have like a 4-4 and 4 for your lineup. But I really enjoy having Knight and Fragment in this deck as well. And then for our grade 1s, we're going to be running, of course, 4 perfect cards. Now, we're not running the unflippy perfect card because, like everyone says, the Cross is a thing. And also, new D-Police came out with Commander Laurel. And they only have to have the Vanguard hit. Doesn't have to be Vanguard, so yeah, I'm not going to let that happen. And it's good because it's also a Jewel Knight. So you'd want to be able to max out Jewel Knight to pull off Sword Me's a special counterblast. So the more Jewel Knights you have is really good in this deck. And so for the next one, we're running 4 copies of the Stride Fodder, Sisyphus. And so you want to be able to stride in this deck. So if you can't pull off Stride, then you have Ashley Reverse as your main. Then you'd be able, it's options. That's what I'm all about in this deck. I'm all about the options. And so you want to max out the stride fodder because you want to stride. And it's pulling off stride is you can have all these combos, and I'll go ahead and show you guys. And then we're running 3 copies of Jewel Knight Sword Sabrami. Jeez, they're all the same. Jewel Knight Sabrami. She's a limit break enabler for Royal Paladins. And so basically I run 3 because early in the game you're going to want to be able to pull off Ashley's limit break just in case you're getting super aggro, so you can kill their front row and also call your own and build your own field. That's why it's really good. It's kind of like a 1-for-1, except you getting the plus and they're dying. And yeah, we're running 3 because 3 is just the route, right? And then we're running 3 copies of Jewel Knight Prismy. Now Prismy is so fun to use in this deck because say you have, even though like your hand is going to be huge, it always helps to recycle and filter your hand for a better card, better options. And I'm running 3 right now because you can call it late in the game when you have full field with either Ashley Reverse or maybe a Sword Me, or you just have it in your hand, and then it's able to, you know, filter your hand and adds another Jewel Knight. It's really, really good. And then I used to run 4 copies of the Limit Break Enabler and 2 Prismy, but I felt like running 2 Prismy was too little because I wanted more hand filtering. It really helped me in some of my matches where I dropped like a grade 3, I mean not a grade 3, a grade 2, and actually got like more shield in my hand, which is pretty good. Yeah, one time I swapped out a Blaster Blade Seeker, I had a perfect guard in my hand. It was, ooh, so good. And then for our trigger lineup, we're going to be running 6 Jewel Knight Criticals, and we're running 6 Draw, and 4 of them are going to be Margle, 2 Jewel Knights, and Margles, you're going to run them max Margle because it helps you fill soul for Thing Saver, and also the plus 3000 really helps you hit those magic numbers. And then 4 Jewel Knight Heals. Yep, pretty standard for especially this type of deck. And then our starter is going to be Dreaming Jewel Knight Tiffany. Now we're running Tiffany over my other favorite dude, what's his name? Knight of Drawn Sword. Let's see if I have him here. Nope, I don't have him here. But Knight of Drawn Sword, because Tiffany, not only is she a 5k, she helps you just put the fill soul for Thing Saver when you want to pull off his resent, and also gives you the magic numbers. It's basically a double Margle, so it gives 2 Jewel Knights plus 3000 when she goes into the soul. So that's why I run her. And then for our G units, running 4 copies of Saint Blow Dragon. Saint Blow is going to be your finisher for the deck. There was actually a game that I played over the weekend at Team League where he won me the game because they couldn't guard his 46k with crit. And they were at 3 damage, and then I critted him again, triple critted, and that won me the game. So, yeah, it sucks to be triple critted, but, you know, that's Vanguard for you. And then we're going to be running 3 copies of Shrouded 3 copies of Shrouded Divine Knight, Gablade. Gablade is amazing in this deck because when you pull off his stride early game, or like the first turn stride that you have, they're probably not going to guard a 31k column with Tiffany behind him. And so that's a free, and say you have Jewel Knight Counterblast, you just go ahead and call Sword Me, Counterblast 1, Jewel Knight, and then you call out the Limit Break Enabler. And then on your next turn, you're going to be able to have Ashley Reverse, so you can't stride again, or you stride again, you get Saint Blow over. You have this options. Options are the best thing about this deck. And that's what I enjoy. Now, people say like the bad thing about having so many options is like, how would you know about what to run next? It's pretty much you just have to be a smart player about it. You have to know what to do and when to do it. And basically, it's all about timing. And you just have to play smart. And then we're checking in 1 Atmos just in case you can't do anything. And you have 1 open counterblast. You want to swing for that mega number so they cannot guard. Alright, so let's go ahead and get in a few options, or a few combos with this deck. So say, you know, you have opening hand. Let's say we're at grade 2. Say we rode Prismy, and then we have Tracy in our hand, and then we had Sword Me. And then, let's say, Knight of Fragment. And then Ashley Reverse. And then I think that's... Does that make sense? Can I do that? Oh, and then like a 1 trigger. There you go. So let's say like that's our hand. It's not that bad. It's okay. Boom, you got Prismy there. That's fine, I guess. And so let's say they try to rush you at grade 1. Boom, you guard maybe guard the first one. Drop that. And then you take a crit. Damage. Jewel Knight damage. Damage again. Oh, Jewel Knight draw. Priority Vanguard. Draw an extra card. Let's say we'll draw this, whatever. Or draw a crit. Sure. And then so next turn, now that you have your 2 Jewel Knight counterblast, like, oh, this is the fun part. And so you go into boom, you ride Knight of Fragment, call sword me, a special counterblast, search, call your Limit Break Enabler, because you want to set up for Ashley Reverse on the next turn, and then call Tracy. So once they aggro you, you aggro them right back. So boom, you have a 12k hitter right here, you have a 14k column with your Vanguard attack, and then you have a 16k column on top of that. And this full field was like, or basically that was at the cost of 1 counterblast, which is amazing, and it helps you rush so hard. And if you crit them, it's like, are they going to take all these attacks? Probably not. They don't want to. And like, oh, sure, our hand is a little low, but you'll probably, you know, that's not the hand you're going to have for sure. But, you know, probably hit a draw. I forgot to drive check on the first one also, but that's one of the combos. And then, so let's go with another one with Ashley Reverse, and we have 2 open counterblasts, which I think is really nice. And so say Ashley Reverse is on your Vanguard circle, and basically you can't stride. You don't have the cards in your hand. You don't want to drop 2 cards just to pull off a stride. Here's a good one. So then you call sword me, and say they have like a full, you know, front row, something in the front row. Even if they don't, it's still fine. You call sword me, boom, a special counterblast. It's so easy to get like Jewel Knight damage in here, since I think about 30 something cards in this deck is all Jewel Knight, so you won't be having to worry about not being able to use sword me. If you do, then that's just bad luck. Boom, a special counterblast, superior call, the Limit Break Enabler. Since it's still early in the game, your opponent's probably not going to have enough cards in their hand to guard Vanguard attack regardless. And they're going to want to take their own damage so they can pull off their own skills. So then boom, Ashley Reverse Limit Break. Now that you have Saber Me on the field, counterblast 1 and a special lock Jewel Knight. Boom, retire their front row and superior call another card. And say you can superior call Tracy. And then bam, now you just set up 12k hitter, 11k Vanguard, and a 16k column. It's too good. It's too good. And then, yeah, and see how, like, yeah, you have 2 counterblasts open, but then, of course, you know, heal triggers are a thing, and you pretty much only need to restand once with Thing Saver, unless you really want to go for that triple restand. You don't have to pull in off any of these skills. So that's fine, you know? And so let's say we take another damage. Bam. Jewel Knight. Again. And then we get a stride fodder in on the next turn. Let me drop that. Boom. Oh, that wrong way. Stride. And then you go into Gabblade, because it's, you know, your first stride. Again, they're probably not going to guard a 31k column early in the game. They either they won't have the cards for it, or they just don't have the perfect guard, and they don't want to waste cards, or they want to take the damage. But then, you know, if you're a smart person, you probably don't want to let Gabblade hit, especially in this type of deck, because of what can happen. So let's go, boom, 12, I swing at their, I don't know, rear guard or Vanguard, if you want to just, you know, keep rushing them. And then you swing with Gabblade, triple drive, boom, boom, crit, say like crit power here, and then, I don't know, draw trigger, build your hand. And then you go Gabblade skill, go ahead and retire this, call out another Sword Me is a special counterblast, and call out that other grade 1. And say you call out Prismy, Boom. Now you can use Prismy skill. Lets you drop one and draw one. Oh, wow. And now we can set up for Think Saver. Isn't that awesome? That's why I love having Prismy in here. I love having this Limit Break enabler. So boom, boom. Late in the game when you have a full field of Jewel Knights, you can go ahead and do the Sword Me combo, call out Prismy, and go ahead and filter your hand. That's what I really like about this. And so right after you ride Think Saver on the next turn, now look how many's in your soul. 3. That's already enough to do his cost. And then if you say if be at 5 or you haven't even used any counterblast, you can do his skill at 2 damage. If you had to ride him instead of Ashley, you go ahead and just throw Tiffany in the soul, power up your rear guards, and again, that's 3 soul. It's really easy to get 3 soul in this deck, guys. And so that's pretty much the deck profile. Go ahead and leave a comment down below what you guys think of the deck. This deck did go 6-1, and I'm not lying to you, it was pretty consistent. So far I like it, and I hope you guys too. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Like our video, comment below if you guys have any questions or comments, and subscribe if you want to see some more. Vanguard Central out.